Yeah, that looks good. That's it. Oh, hello there. I didn't see you looking there. Were you just checking out my rear end?
Nothing at all. Nothing at all. Nothing at all.
I'm Simon Cardinal, and you might recognize me from such tutorial videos as Winching 101, the do's and don'ts of moving stuff around. You might also know me from the other tutorial video of Winching Advanced. How do I get those things around, and how did I do that? Great questions. A lot of people also know me from my 1982 software. But that's not why we're here to talk about today. Today, we're here to talk about this beautiful 1976 Alpha Alpha 5 Alpha Grumman Cheetah. Because what I don't love talking about is when someone breaks her or someone breaks something in the hangar, especially during winching operations. Now, you might be asking yourself, why would we winch this airplane, Simon? And no problem. That's a great question. In just a second, we're going to go outside and you'll see exactly why. Because the fact of the matter is, sometimes we need some help. We need to get that airplane in, and sometimes, just sometimes, we can't do it by ourselves. But that's why we have our beautiful winch system set up for us, which we'll bring in a little bit later on to talk about. Now, you may notice the plane is already in the hangar, and that's because winching doesn't start anywhere near the winch. It starts in the beginning of making sure you're ready to actually winch that airplane. Now, what does that look like? That looks like putting on your gloves. It looks like ensuring everything is out of the way. It looks like taking just 2 seconds to make sure that you're ready to do that. So take the time, go slow, and that avoids a call with me and avoids some awkward conversations with anyone else. And it most definitely avoids a thorough roasting on the WhatsApp Grumpers thread. I'm going to go move the stuff out of the way because you may have noticed there was a chock in the way. Half of the cover for the engine was on. Look at that. Oh, and the other chock is in the way. Another thing to pay attention to when you're getting ready to winch this airplane in, because I've had to have this awkward conversation with a pilot, is to make sure the doors are open all the way. Do you see the workbench? If the door is past the workbench, you've got lots of room. Let's go to the other side. While I've got you here, let's talk about when you're pushing it in, remember to make sure not to hit the handle against the frame. Got the doors open? If this door is ready to go, you'll know because it's very simple. You see this desk? If the door is past the chair, you've got lots of room for the wing. Let's get this airplane outside. That's why we winch, so we don't get hurt. Okay, so here we are. It's time to get her back inside. She needs a bit of a rest. We need to go back one step further. Where do you line the airplane up? The good news for everyone here is that I took some time and I painted some lines on the ground. All you need to do is got to pay attention. Look at those lines, how they line up just right with the landing gear. You'd think it'd be nice and easy just to pull it straight in and go from there. And you know when to stop because we even have markers where to tell you when to stop. We need to talk about this caster wheel. This is going to be the reason you come into problems. You'll be rushing, you'll be tired, your friends and family are just going to want to go home. Here's the thing. That was a free castering wheel. And what that means is it just spins left and right. You see it when you're taxiing, you're all over the place. And what's great about it is we can turn this airplane on a dime. The problem is when we're moving this airplane backwards, the airplane turns on a dime. So you need to make sure that when you're moving the aircraft to make small movements. Allow everything to line up and then fix it. And folks, when you're pushing that airplane in and things go awry, stop. Immediately stop. Pull the airplane back out, line it straight up where you want to be, and then start pushing her back. Trust me. Now, I know I've done a lot of talking about landing gear and lines and caster wheels. Should we do some winching now? We're going to use this Champion 5,000 pulling pound winch. These straps, that remote control, but most importantly, we're going to use common sense. Go slow. If you run into problems, stop. Okay, we're ready to go. We've got some straps. First step is to put the straps on the airplane. Before that, the first thing to do is to make sure that free castering wheel is straight. I have verified that. Come with me. Now you got to be very careful on this ramp. It is very slippery. Look at the strap. Take one end and throw it around the strap, the strut. Take the other end, throw it around the other side of it. I take the two clamps, and I push them back. I grab the ends and I pull it to the back of the aircraft, making sure that it's on the strut and then nothing is tied off really bad. Let's go do the other side. Again, same thing. One strut goes there. The big thing here, other than making sure things aren't kinked, is to make sure you take your time. You hear that theme a lot. We take the strap, put it over top of the strut, and away we go. We're doing the other side here. Grab the straps. We go like that. Folks, if you hear anything that I've said other than take your time, this is the big one. Keep that tension on that cable when you're pulling it in. You'll cause a lot of snarls, and that causes a phone call. Keep that tension. Let's get this cable out. Okay, here we are. We're ready to start winching. First step, grab the winch remote. Pretty self-explanatory, 2 buttons. Out for out, in for in. Grab the cable and have a look. Here's the cool thing. We have this super duper clutch. All you simply do, switch it the other way. And now look at this. We're pulling this cable. It's beautiful.
Nice.
And you'll simply pull that cable out the whole way. Once you've got the cable at the distance you want, you go back and re-engage the clutch. You'll note that there's some cabling there, so what you do, you pull that out because you don't want any of that extra left over. Re-engage the clutch, put it in place, you're on your way. The next thing we'll talk about is how do we get that tension back onto that cable, because that is not a good thing. All right, so here we go. We're ready to start pulling the tension up on this cable. We have not connected anything to the airplane yet. That's the next step. All we gotta do now is take up this tension. So let's do that. We get our remote control and we're hitting the in button. With one hand, grab the cable. Now you may be saying to yourself,
Simon, why are we saying doing like this?
because I need to explain everything. Here we go. So you just suck the cable in, pulling on the tension, and you're just giving it enough time to pull up some of this cable.
A few inches later.
We're about to connect the winch cable to these straps. You simply take the one large carabiner and you push the strapping through it. Make sure you do each side individually, and at the end of it, you should have 4 straps connected. Close the carabiner, and this step is done. But what's the problem? What can we see that is going to cause a problem? And that's going to make a phone call happen. It's going to make Simon lose his mind. We have no tension on this cable. You're going to keep sucking in that cable until the cable is all the way pulled into the winch, and that it is nice and taut, but not pulling the plane backwards because there's no one up front. So you have a look, make sure everything is okay, giving a little bit of tension. I'm starting to look. I'm seeing the cable line is starting to come up. That's good. Pull it a little more. It's not on the ground anymore. Also very good. There's the end of the winch cable. Pull a bit more. Just keep going. And that's it. It's that simple.
Nice.
Let's move on to actually pulling this bird inside. Now here's the thing. The next step is pulling this plane back, and it's not as simple as just using the winch cable. We also have to use the tow bar to steer the aircraft. This tow bar right there. Now let's go get that hooked up and get this plane back in the barn. Well, now the big thing here is to make sure that this tire is straight. Again, that caster wheel will come back to bite you in the rear end. All you simply do with one hand, with the remote in your hand, you hold that, you start pulling everything back in, and with the other hand, you're guiding the airplane with the winch. Remember, slow movements. And sometimes you'll run into a challenge where you might need to replace the battery. Well, this is a great time to talk about how do we replace the battery and where do we find the batteries. Let's do that. Inside the cabinet on the right-hand side here, on the top right-hand corner, you'll find some spare batteries. Inside this case right here, you'll find the screwdriver and you'll find 23 amp batteries. Now the thing about the batteries is just take the old battery, put it on the desk, and I'll ensure that gets recycled. Again, my hands are cold because it's winter, and yet I'm still not rushing. I'm taking my time. Why? Because I don't want a phone call from me. No one wants a phone call from me. Back in the cabinet. Should we get back to winching? Okay, so we're going to pull the airplane back, and we're on our way. Look at that. Beautiful. You notice how its tail's moving really quickly? Little tiny movements of the nose. That's all we got to do. We're not totally lined up. You stop. You pull the plane out. You take your time because remember, it's still connected to that winch system there. And you straighten the airplane out in however way you need it. And now we go back. Let's pull this plane back in the house. With the airplane's main wheels in the hangar now, you pull the airplane back, making yourself as straight as possible. I'm nicely lined up. Everything's looking good. All 3 tires are now inside the hangar. Should be going nice and straight, little tiny minor movements. And I know now that I'm looking for those wheel chock placement areas. Getting closer, and stop. Okay, so here we are. We've got the airplane in the hangar. The next step, chock that airplane. There we go. While I'm on this side of the airplane, you may as well put the drip pan in because planes leak. So we got the airplane back in, put the tow bar away. Let's do that. Now, we're still not done because the airplane's still connected to that winch. Let's disconnect that cable. All you simply do is release a small amount of the tension on the winch cable, enough so that you can disengage the straps from the winch itself, the winch cable. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, this is the part that I like to think is one of the most important pieces to do. Pulling the rest of the cable in without losing any of that tension. Bring it up, come saw, and you're pulling the cable in just enough so that it goes like that. And you're done with the winch as far as this part of it is concerned. Okay, so now it's time to put the straps away. So all you simply do is you grab one end of the strap, being careful not to pull the strap too fast, otherwise the hook will come around and hit the underside of the aircraft. You take the strap, connect it to the end of the hook here, and slowly pulling the strap. Really quite simple. Let's have a bit of a look. That's it. Let's do the other one. Now, as you're pulling this cable in, or the strapping in, it's a good idea to have a look at it, make sure it didn't get frayed or warped or anything. If it gets broken, just let me know. We'll fix it up. There we go. The straps are in. The plane is in. We're still not done. We still have things we got to do. In the winter, we need to connect the heater, we need to put the cover on, and I'll take care of those things right now, and then we'll talk about the stuff. The big thing about the cable, all right, let's get this cover on. Close the doors. Door 1 complete. Let's talk about door 2. When you're pulling door 2 in, you really want to pay attention to that lock. Let's have a look. The door is right there. Oh, look, here. Oh. So pull that door out, the hanger out a little bit to make sure that we clear this piece here from that spot there. It will catch every time. I promise you it'll catch it. I know people are still doing it because I'm still finding shards of wood.
Bruh.
Nice try, guys. Put the pin in. That's it. Now what do? We step back and we survey what is a beautiful, beautiful airplane. Straps are put away. Airplane's in the hangar. Nothing's broken. You took your time. You exercised some common sense. And you put the plane away so we can all fly again another day. Don't forget to close out your flight club and if you followed the flight plan, make sure you close that out as well. Thanks for your patience and take care.